for all of you boxers that's trying to weather strategic blueprint, let it build up, let it marinate. You're not ready. Keep Teofimo just killed all the excuses. Oh, I'm too young. Loma had been calling Tank out all of this time. All we kept hearing, all we kept hearing is I'm not ready or he's not ready. We need him to develop. Young guys, stop letting that age thing be an excuse. If you dedicated to the sport, you doing your homework, you staying in shape, you're not focused on being a rapper or any of that stuff. When the big moment and opportunity presents itself, Tiafimo has showed you that age and number of fights and all of that is not an excuse. He went out there against a veteran with 300 plus amateur wins and still got it done. Or maybe 400, something like that. Two gold medals. All of these accolades that they say constantly. Why nobody is going to be able to do anything with him, even though Salido did it, but especially not a young guy with not as much experience, only 15 fights and 100 amateur fights. There's no, all of the excuses are gone. Tank, stop ducking, stop taking your career slow. Now it's time to see. He been calling your name. Go run it with him. Ryan Garcia, Golden Boy, stop. Take the training wheels off these fighters. Let them fight. If they lose, they lose. You either got it or you don't. It's nothing wrong with lose. Just like the UFC, go out there and fight. Loma ain't really lose nothing from that fight. Now, all of the hype and stuff like that, that's been proven because if you are what they had been hyping you to be, you figure out Salido and you figure out Teofimo Lopez. You know that you can't wait that long to start in a fight of this type of magnitude with somebody of this type of skill. You know you can't wait like that with that pedigree that they said he had. And if he was a Floyd Mayweather, Floyd knew how to access. He knew when to work. He knew when to sit, put that back on the work on the ropes and work off that back foot. Floyd is the GOAT. But that old Mayweather blueprint of just being about the money, if you guys want to make money, if you really are the goods, you have to fight early. Now, if later on in your career, if you start doing all that other stuff, but this waiting it out for the big fight, everybody ain't gonna be in the big fight. It's only gonna be some of y'all. The cream gonna always rise to the top. Fight each other right now. 135. Y'all got all the talent. Shakur, Ryan, Devin, um Teo, but Teo getting ready to move up. Teo done move past you guys because he just stepped up when everybody else got the training wheels on and just taking their time. He stepped up, fought real competition, and now he in the position to be the next superstar in boxing. This could have been y'all. Tank, this could have been you. And you could even had it on pay-per-view and made man. Take the training wheels off these fighters, you promoters. I know y'all invested money, but the cream gonna always rise to the top if they don't have it. But see, that's the thing. Y'all want to milk the fans. Y'all don't want to get a real fight to find out who is who and what is what. And y'all still think we in this old mentality. And another thing I want to see is Lomachenko still gonna be pound for pound because it's no black fighter in boxing. Will you almost? I don't know if I ever seen one with one loss, let alone two. So if he's still on pound for pound, I know something based on their criteria historically. Because if anybody with a loss should be on pound for pound, it's Sean Porter. Earl Spence fight debatable, depend on how you judge that ninth round. I call it even because Sean whooped on him before the drop and whooped on him after the drop in that round. Earl did nothing but the drop, so that's debatable. Losing to Kell Brook at that time when Kell Brook was the guy, that's one of the best fighters in the world with him at his best. That's not a knock. And losing to Keith Thurman in a tight fight that some people felt Sean Porter won, that's not a lock. So them knocks are better than the Salido loss. All even two of them, even three of, even who else? Sean Salido. I mean Spence, Bro, yeah, all three of them is better than one loss to Salido because Salido already had 12 losses. He was a journeyman. Now, losing to Teofimo Lopez is the real deal. But to me, how you lost will still put you behind the Sean Porter because if you of that ilk, that pedigree, that pound for pound, you know you cannot not do nothing for the first 7, 8 rounds. And people keep saying the second round, the boy ain't do nothing. He threw 2, 3 punches, and don't listen to compu. Don't come at me nothing with no compu box. Loma did nothing in that second round. He got buckled twice. Early on in that second round, if you go look, he caught him and Teofimo didn't see it and he didn't jump on him. He could have stopped him. His legs buckled. And late in that second round, around when Loma was getting off, he caught him in between something. And you can see he was a bit off. But Tio just wasn't really jumping on him early. But take the training wheels off these fighters. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. But Sean Porter should be pound for pound. Especially because I know they're gonna still slip Loma in there. So if we slip fighters with losses in pound for pound, there's no reason Sean Porter with his resume and the guys he lost to shouldn't be pound for pound. Like I said, mine is skills, is who you beat, is how you look against other top like competition that other top fighters fought. So for example, Earl got in there early for me because how he looked against Bundu as compared to Keith Thurman, how he looked against Algieri as compared to Pacquiao, how he looked against Peterson as compared to Danny. So if they going in there having tough fights with these guys, and you going in there stopping them after, you showing how you stack up even before you get these certain matchups if you're getting them in the right time period. Now if you getting them when these guys super washed up, you're not getting the same competition. Also, how do you react to adversity? Anthony Joshua get dropped in the big fight with Klitschko, get back up, get it done. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather get caught by Mosley, download that information, come back and whoop on them the rest of the fight. So it's a lot of stuff that go into it. How they do it, I really don't know. If you go look at any of the pound for pound video type of trap media, pound for pound, you see my criteria laid out so you can go and actually apply certain filters and be like, okay, I see how he came to that. I see how he came to that. These guys, it just we know what it is. It's a racial bias always, and a black fighter got to work 10 times as hard to get the same type of respect. But if you, I def, I had to go back and look. I don't think I seen a black because even Wilder losing to Fury is not a knock because it's one of the best in the world. He like a new Ali. But outside of all the extra stuff, I'm just saying the skill set. But barring if we putting Loma on there, we putting fighters with losses. Sean Porter is pound for pound for sure, and his losses would still, even though it's one more, it would still put him over Lomachenko for me in a pound for pound. Now they try to talk about the skill and all that, but at this high level, at 35, where the competition is higher and you can make less mistakes, I don't want to hear the excuses of size because I watch Floyd constantly go up all the way to the highs, the 50s from lower weight classes, and his skill set, he just knew he could make less mistakes and had to be more calculated and really outthought everybody in there. Loma doesn't seem to be able, especially at the highest level when the competition gets higher. I don't want to hear nothing about age because if you put him in there against Corolla 1,000 times, it's gonna be the same result as what he did to Corolla because of that skill level. So when he goes up in skill level, like I said, I thought he lost the Pedraza fight. Um, he couldn't handle, what happened in the low with Salido. He had a tough time against Luke Campbell and Linares, solid. But I don't see all of that. Oh, he's going left. He's changing angles. He's doing all of the stuff that they touted him about. You don't see it at this high level. He didn't even want to let his hands go. So late in the fight, he did start, like I said, he started kind of bullying dude, and that was more of an experience, and you can tell that he took that information from the Salido fight, and he kind of had in his mind, all right, if he comes in here trying to bully him around because of the weight advantage and all that, he even showed he was stronger than Tio. because Tio tried to put him in the headlock and he kind of lifted him up with his back. And I'm like, that's stuff Teofimo's supposed to be doing. So if Teofimo, when you get to this 147, this is my advice. You took the training wheels off, respect and all that. You could possibly be the last one standing with your skill set. But if you don't get no dog, if you don't get that recklessness and that when it turns into a real fight, you gotta be willing to be a pit bull. You was a chihuahua. He was pushing you around. He was like, I don't understand. Stop waiting for the referee. This is a fight. You could die in that ring. Don't let nobody just get no punches off on you in the clinch. Make the referee come grab y'all and tell y'all to stop. Make them tell, oh, okay, cut this out. If you get pointed, you get pointed, but you ain't letting, they're gonna have to call it both ways because Loma was aggressive, but you gonna get that at 147. You get in the clinch with Sean Porter, you get in the clinch with Bud, you get in the clinch with all of these guys, you get in that inside, ain't nobody letting up. So you better be willing to put your foot on the gas, especially if you getting off like you was in that type of fight. Cause they gonna dog not the new he won, but he was exposed in a way too, because the new blueprint for beating Teofimo Lopez in the future when he fights guys on his level, they're gonna try to outdog him, not just with the skill. They're gonna put him on a back foot, they're gonna take it to the inside and see if he that same guy when somebody dogging 12 rounds, because Loma only did it in spots. And that's why I don't want to talk about a rematch because they were so arrogant to the point where they wasn't gonna give him a rematch. But I do think in the case of a rematch, it would possibly be a little bit more interesting because I think he would come out aggressive earlier. And I think that's the key to breaking Teo down. And I think that's where I would edge a Tank in a Teo fight. Both of them got the power, both of them got the skill. Tank is a better body puncher, and that's what some TL need to add to his game too. He wasn't working the body enough. Tank is a better body puncher, but when it comes down to that dog and the clutch and all that, Tank a pit bull, and and I think that pit bull along with the skill set would make Tank come out victorious against all of these guys from 135. Even Shakur. I think Tank stopped Shakur. I don't think Shakur hit hard enough to keep Teo or Tank off of. I don't think he hit hard enough. I think he possibly got the dog being in there with Bud, being in there with Loma early in sparring, having Andre Ward with him. I think he possibly got the dog being from the environment he from and being around the team that he's around. He possibly got the dog, but I just think like Southern T Boxer said, Tank. Take the training wheels off. We know the skills are there. Don't be scared. If you lose, you lose. But you can still be on top and lose. Look at Sean Porter. Lomachenko losing is a good thing for boxing because they're gonna start switching the goalposts and changing the standard on the narrative and the promotion of losing. Because if they don't, it's gonna be even more clear. And in a time right now where a lot of people and a lot of these companies' backs are against the wall, I think it's gonna really shift that losing there, even though it's already began to shift, but it's gonna shift it even quicker to more of a UFC perception on losing. Try me to subscribe, like all that. Take the training wheels off, you young fighters. There's no more excuses for not fighting the best competition. We don't want to hear that you building it up and this, and that, because you can lose the fight like Joshua and Wilder. Stop taking your time. Forget if the money ain't there right now. We're not trying to wait 2-3 years for these big fights. You could die tomorrow. Life ain't promised. Make it happen, and the cream gonna always rise to the top. You might not just be that, or you might not just be that in the moment.